I'm letting him in.
By the way, I'm a CEO, just a CEO.
Just to
Forget
see. Okay. Apologies. Just to see.
Oh no, I changed that recently. So
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Who have we got here?
Hello, it's Maya.
Hi, Maya. Nice to meet you.
Hello, and Lisa.
And Lisa. Hi. Great to meet you both. My name's
Same.
Mark. I'm the project manager at the New Black Film Collective. So we've been chatting a bit so far. Also on the call we have Andrina, who is our operations manager, keeps us all on track.
Hello.
And we have
Hi,
Priscilla,
guys.
who's the CEO.
Hello.
hi there. Lovely to meet
Hello. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, so we just wanted to sit down and have a quick chat with everybody who's interested in the project so that we can meet you, get an idea of what motivates you, what you're really interested in sort of achieving with this project and sort of the directions you'd like to see it going in, and learn a little bit about your situation and why you're drawn to a project like this. So if you don't mind, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 13 years old. I live in Southeast London and I have sickle cell. I like drawing, cooking. Um, I enjoy science, English, history, geography. Um, yeah.
Very well rounded. You've got the arts, the science, the humanities, touching on everything. Nice. Awesome. And do you have any brothers or sisters with sickle cell as well?
No.
Okay. If it's, are you okay and happy talking about your experiences with sickle cell? Are you happy sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Spread awareness anyway.
yeah, I do some spreading awareness for sickle cell. I have an Instagram page that like I kind of like I make videos on. Like anytime I go into hospital, I kind of like let people like know how I'm doing and like show like how things have been going. Um, I think like overall, like my experience with sickle cell has been like pretty like okay to be honest. Because like I have two aunties with sickle cell that are in the Be Positive choir, and then when they tell me about things that gone through, like they both had a like I think they've had a stroke, yeah,
Both had strokes.
and it was like wow, because it was like not had anything that severe, so it was like I
She's
kind of
just
they really inspired me. Yeah, she's one of the is it a port cap? I think
Yeah.
it's a port cap, and it was like really inspiring for me because I've never had like it not that severe. So I'd say that like my like experience with sickle cell has been all right. But I mean, when some people are like some people have said like, oh, they've never been in hospital before, and it's like they've been born. And I've been like, wow, like so. I mean, I think it's always like what side of the fence that you're on. Like, because for some people looking in, it's like, wow, you're always in hospital, you're always in pain. But then from my side, it's like I'm not as bad as like my aunties. So it's like I think I'd say I've had an okay experience, and I'm just kind of grateful. Like I take every day as it comes.
Okay. That seems like a good approach. So how often would you say that you're having crises?
Um, well, usually I'm in pain like every day, like just attending school. Like I'll have like whether it's like a pain in my leg or in my arm or having a bit of a headache. It's just like I have to like go through that. But being in hospital, maybe maybe 4 or 5 months. It's been pretty good
Yeah,
actually.
you've been in
Twice. So yeah, I think because I've been homeschooled, and then I started secondary school, um, last September, because I'm in year 8 now. So I think coming into school, it was kind of like a shock to my system because like having that constant schedule, I go on a hill as well because I have two sites of my school, one on top of the hill and one at the bottom. So I've having to been ferrying my way up and down the hill, up the stairs. So I think my body's like still trying to adjust. So I've been in hospital more often now because of school rather than before.
Okay.
So
You seem to have a very positive sort of outlook on everything, which is nice to see.
thank
Do you feel that sickle cell has prevented you from achieving some of the things that you want to, like I don't know, any sporting interests or any things that you'd like to achieve which you feel you can't because of sickle cell?
honestly, I think the best like the thing that I try not to do is let it define me. So I mean, I don't think it has ever stopped me from like trying something. If I wanted to try football, I think I'd definitely try it out. And then if I find that it's getting too much for me or I get too tired, then I'd say, okay, at least I've given it a shot. Or I'll go back to it every now and then, say, oh, I might play football today and then rest for the week and then play again. But I mean, personally, I don't have that many sporting interests. I mean, I like tennis. Like I enjoy like just like having fun, like playing catch and stuff like that. But not really any like proper sports. Like I do like tennis like every like single weekend. But like I do it for fun. Yeah, but I wouldn't
swim. You used to do ballet.
Yeah, I really like swimming. But yeah, yeah,
Trampoline.
yeah. I did trampoline, didn't I? But I mean, apart from that, I don't think I'd let it like stop me from doing anything. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, how old were you when you found out that you had sickle cell, or was it before you can remember?
Yeah, it's before I can remember, but my mum can say.
Yeah, I mean, she was diagnosed at the heel prick test,
Okay.
and it was a bit of a shock. I knew that I'd carried the trait, but I wasn't aware that my partner had the trait also. But I made a vow that I would never keep it from her, so it would just be part and parcel of life.
Yeah.
So she's never known that she hasn't had sickle cell. That
Yeah.
makes
I
sense.
kind of don't remember a time where it was like mum sat me down and said, "Look, you have something that's going to affect you for the rest of your life." It kind of just grew up with it.
Mhm.
Like I just knew, oh, I have sickle cell, so I know, oh, I have to drink more. Oh, I have to stay more warm. Oh, I have to like not exert myself. So I kind of appreciate that it wasn't like a sudden kind of awaken for me. Because I think the founder of Sickle Can, his name is Kahende, he said that he didn't know he had sickle cell until he was in a university.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
it's sick.
he randomly got sick and they were like, "You have sickle cell," and he was like, "What?" And his parents kept like had like obviously wanted to protect him, and so like they didn't really express that to him. So I'm kind of grateful that I know, because then therefore when I get sick, I'm like, oh, I know the reason why. I don't have to be worried or scared. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it seems very uneven where some people we're talking to are just like yourself and it's something they've always known. And then, as you say, some people only learn in later life and
yeah,
it kind of makes sense of a lot of things that they'd experienced earlier on. When it comes to things like lifestyle changes, like drinking water and that kind of thing that you're talking about, would you say you learned that stuff through your parents or through doctors or?
I think I'd say I mainly learned it through my parents, but of course, like being like going to the doctors normally, they say, "Oh, make sure you're doing this and make sure you're just like keeping yourself like safe and like just like they kind of bring down like the basic facts that I need to know." So I think it's always like it's probably like introduced by like mum and like the hospitals and the doctors, but then it's kind of like reinforced like constantly throughout like going to outpatient appointments. It's like, oh, like have you make sure you've been drinking enough water? Have you been like you've been eating well? Have like a healthy diet?
It helped having your aunties with sickle cell as well.
Yeah, it definitely helped having aunties and like, knowing people with sickle cell, because then it was really like.
Do you know many? Do you know many people your own age with sickle cell? Maybe through school or through a support group?
Well, I actually went to the 2019 Sickle Cell Society like sickle cell like they do a holiday every year. Where they'll take like the children and maybe do like wall climbing and do like swimming and do like all these outdoor adventures and camping and survival skills, and it was really fun. And I met a lot of friends there. I do keep in contact with some of them, but I think that was like the main situation where I've actually met children my age. So I do have friends, but like before, I think it was like more asking people, "Do you have sickle cell?" And going, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. I have sickle cell as well." Until that moment where I actually like definitely knew, oh, all these people have sickle cell. It was like a really nice community. And it was also like being at that activity, because like I think sometimes that's kind of like kept from you, like being able to do all these activities and jumping around and just being able to be wild and because like you have the fear of getting sick. But it was really nice because like there were doctors and nurses there where if you ever got hurt, they like knew what to do. They were like, okay, we know how to treat you. And it was really nice because you could just be yourself there and you could have fun like probably haven't been able to before. So it was really nice to like find a new side of myself there.
Nice.
Over the wall as well.
Yeah, I also went to the over the wall camp in the cloud, as well as the actual real one that was in, was it this month? I think it was like last
Couple of
month.
months ago.
Yeah, but it was really fun because like it wasn't just children with sickle cell; it was like different illnesses as well. So it was really nice to get like all sides of life. It was like I think one of my friends, like, she has to do that. She had, I think it was diabetes. You get to get the pinprick every day, and I was like, wow. So it was really nice to just like see like everyone's different lifestyles. It was really nice.
Nice. Okay. In school, do you have a lot of people like that? Do you have people with different conditions who?
Um, Surprisingly, actually, I don't know very many people in my school that have sickle cell as well. But I mean,
They don't tend to tell you. I think it's the children are allowed to have
confidential.
some their privacy.
For
Is
sure.
it right?
For sure.
But I think there was one girl or
There's a boy in sixth form.
yeah,
We met him in the
I met
hospital.
him in the hospital, and he was like, "I go to that school." I was like, "Oh, go to that school as well." So I think there are probably quite a few children, probably a few girls that have sickle cell, but I don't necessarily know them in school. Yeah.
And we did something for Black History Month. Your auntie and myself, we went into the school to spread more awareness
That was so
for October Black History Month. And
Yeah.
they welcomed that. I think they
because most of my friends knew as well. They were like, "Oh, that's so cool," and they were like, "Oh, I know about that. I know how to drink water and stuff. It's really fun." And then like some of them knew that they were my mum. I was like, "Oh, that's your mum. Oh, your mum's so nice," and it was really fun because then it was like more people knew. Like,
Is a lack of awareness in your school something that's a problem sometimes? Like, you have teachers who don't understand the problems we're having sickle cell? You come across ignorance in that way?
I think it was a problem at first, but I mean, we like they kind of like had the information there. Like we sent in a care plan, we told the school about it, we expressed like my needs and stuff. I have a lift key and a toilet pass that I can say, "Oh, miss, I need to go to the toilet," or "I need to leave class for any medical reasons." I also have a lift key that I can like anytime I'm tired, especially from going up the hill, then I can like take the lift, and I'm allowed to have one of my friends on the lift as well. So I think they've the main teachers that like need to know have usually known, but there are some teachers that might not have actually gotten the memo, and they've been like, "Oh, why do you need to do this? Why do you need to do that?" And then like, "Oh, I have a care plan, I have my pass," and then they're like, "Oh, sorry." So, but that's actually gladly like only been like a problem like once or twice for me, and yeah, and usually it's not really been that serious that I've like ever like needed like medical attention after it. It was just like a quick thing like, "Oh, why do you need to like leave the class and get water?" And it's just been something simple like that. So luckily that's not been a problem. I think like they were really good at making sure that all my needs were like attended for.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that again sounds like something that's very uneven, where some people are saying that they're having good response from institutional figures like teachers or religious leaders, for example, or sporting, people for extracurricular activities, and then some people are saying that there's, a lot of ignorance around them, and that people don't take their disease with as much seriousness as it needs. So I guess it's that kind of unevenness that we're kind of looking to address, really, and to spread a bit more education about and awareness about the health inequalities surrounding sickle cell.
I think we've been lucky with this particular school. So we mentioned that her aunties have sickle cell. One of her aunties attended the school. I mean, she's 30 now, so it's years ago. But her mum was a huge advocate in making change at that school. So I often find, so I'm part of a lot of kind of WhatsApp parent forums, that the onus is on the parents to sort of pave the way and to challenge things. So get that toilet pass, to make sure that they have a lift key. So things are not, as with life, things are often not given to you. You have to ask. And parents tend to have to be quite steely when it comes to asking for things, and even like to get a classroom assistant or something to help them if they need help with writing. You're often initially met with "Oh, we can't do it, it's not in the budget." And then you sort of dig your heels in, you get the doctor to write a letter, you get the sickle cell nurse to call in, and then suddenly it's kind of "Oh, they found the budget and they can do it." So it very much is fighting, a lot of fighting. So we've been lucky in that the school she attends now, there have been parents in the past who have fought for sickle cell children. And so the school is maybe more open to making changes and more open to suggestions.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing your experiences. That's really interesting for us to hear. It helps us to get a picture of how people are with their condition. We're very aware that in working with young people with sickle cell, we're going to have a lot of fluctuating health conditions over the year, and we're trying to be very sensitive to that to make sure that we're fully aware that there'll be some times the way you'll be less able to attend certain things and less able to work on certain things. That's absolutely fine, and we'll work around you as much as we can. Which kind of brings me onto the project. So I'm sure that you'll have had a little read about it already, but the idea will be to get a cohort of young people like yourself with sickle cell so that they can form that community and meet each other a little bit and work together. They'll be split into groups of reporters to work on, with a documentarian essentially in that kind of a way, with researchers to work on research surrounding sickle cell, with marketers to work with social media aspects of things, and campaigners or activists to work on the wider public understanding. Of those 4 branches, I'm assuming that the marketing one sounds quite interesting to you with your background in social media, but are there any others that are interesting to you there as well?
I think the reporting side of it would actually be really exciting as well, but definitely like the marketing, like seeing like how it works with like social media, and I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it.
Right, okay, excellent. Well, something that we're still working on at the minute is how exactly to structure it. So from your perspective, would you like to choose the branch that you want to work on at the start and then stick with it for the full 12 months? Or would you like to cycle and do 3 months of each? Or would you like some kind of a session at the first week where you try a little bit of everything just so that you get an idea of what each branch will be working on, and then you can make a decision based on that information once you've worked on each? What would appeal most to you?
I think definitely the trial day, like just seeing like looking into each section and seeing what would be like what you'd prefer. But I definitely think being able to cycle and get like all aspects of it would be really nice. But just having the trial day at the beginning so that the people that do want to stay can, and then like maybe having some people being able to like swap or like whatever they want to do, like having that cycle. I think that's a really great idea.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so you'd like to get at the very least a little taste of everything so that you know what everything's all about, and then you can make an informed decision, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So with that kind of 12-month time frame that we have to work on those different branches of the project, what would you want to see it creating? What kind of difference would you like to see it making from your perspective?
I think with like I think there's been a lot of campaigns recently that have like kind of like been like another stepping stone towards like achieving this like kind of momentous act of like sickle cell becoming more and more known. So I think just like even more awareness like coming out and being spread, and like just more understanding of it, like in a way, just that way when like for example if you like meet someone, or for example, and then you say like for example I have sickle cell, and they're like, oh, I know what that is, or I saw a little campaign about it, or I saw a video on YouTube about it, and then like and more people just like interested to know more about it, and then like it becomes a kind of like connection like through people that you can like say, oh, I may have this illness, but it's like a part of me, and it like helps me explore the world in different ways. I think any way of more people knowing what sickle cell is just like a really great thing.
So when you're talking about educating people about sickle cell, are you talking more about educating the public in general, or are you talking about educating like institutional figures like teachers and people like that?
I think maybe the public in general, but I definitely think that figures like an institution definitely like should have like that awareness about them, like teachers, just
I think
any
even
like
doctors and nurses need educating.
Because like sometimes like yes they'll have like the textbook, and yes they'll have had that course, but like personally they may not know like the real mental and emotional impact of how it feels. So you may know, oh, you have a physical thing, oh okay, you might need a heat pack, or you need to take whatever medication it is, but like they don't know how it really feels inside. And so I think by having this campaign and getting to actually see within the minds of younger people how it actually feels, as well as like how it seems, would be like really, really good.
Okay, brilliant. So a lot of this will be involving, you know, a lot of teamwork with other young people, a little bit older than you, a little bit younger than you, who are working with sickle cell. Are you happy with that kind of a process, with working as part of a team, and do you see yourself as more of a leader or kind of a, you know, a team player in that way?
I think I would see myself as a leader. But I mean, I'd have be in like any position, whether like I think I'm good with teamwork or singular work. But I think I see myself as kind of a leader. But I think teamwork is actually a really good thing, because that way, like when like you're in a team, there's like less to think about and stress about in your mind, and then you have more people to say, "Oh, I'm stuck on this," and it's like a kind of like web of like help and like support, like saying, "Oh, I don't understand this. Can you help me with this?" And then it's like it's like you don't have that feeling of aloneness in a sense. Like you have to struggle through it on your own. So that's what I enjoy about teamwork. But I mean, being by yourself, I feel like you can like make it however you want. So like if you're like, oh, I don't like this, I can just do it like by myself. I can like do it how I want it. But I think you always need that viewpoint of saying, oh, you know what? It doesn't look that way. And then when you look through a different perspective, you're like, yeah, you're right. Why don't you even think that in the first place? So I think that's really good about teamwork, because then like as all those little like elements come together through this person's mind and this person's mind, it creates an even more beautiful picture.
Brilliant, excellent. That's great. And so just for my interest, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, if you could have one sort of physical, tangible object that would have helped you coming up, or that would help you today with your sickle cell, be it, you know, informational packs or more things to help with your condition, or wearables, or, you know, brochures, what would you want to see as a physical thing to help with your condition?
Ooh, I don't know, maybe like a peer pack where like you have like this little like brochure that you could give to your friend and say, oh, like, because like sometimes it's like hard. I know, like at the beginning of year 7, it was hard for me to tell my friends that I had sickle cell, because I didn't want them to like view me differently or as weird, or oh, she can't do this, she can't do football, and like seeing me as different. I was like a kind of like a kind of isolated being. So I think a little peer pack where you can say, oh, I have sickle cell, and like give them that little pack, and they're like, oh, I didn't know about that. But also making it quite like I don't know, like I feel like that like inclusive, like, so you know, like where you can do like a physical thing, it's like have like a quiz, or like say, oh, I have to like ask for information for you for like this little like pack, and then it's like more of a kind of like inclusive way of like doing it. But that'd be really nice to have like a little peer pack that you can give to your friend, and then like it explains about sickle cell and the basics, and like how you can look out for your friend and make sure they drink water and make sure that they've eaten and stuff.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for giving up your evening to talk to us. It's been really good to get your perspective on things. Andrina, would you have any questions that you'd like to ask before we stop?
Actually, no. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Hi, Mum. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
You've done a great job.
Oh, thank you. I think she
That's
leads the
okay.
way, to be honest. I learned from her.
She seems very
Yeah,
confident.
you seem so confident. What do you want to be when you grow up, love?
Well, at the moment, and I do like a bit of acting, so I'd like to continue acting. But I'd also like to become a real estate agent and a journalist. Yeah.
And those are very, very beautiful and different things. I like it.
If you don't mind me asking, what medication are you on at the moment?
I'm on hydroxycarbamide, cholecalciferol, penicillin, and then I take paracetamol, ibuprofen, and dihydrocodeine as just like painkillers.
Right. And do you find them effective at all?
Pardon? Sorry.
Do you find them effective?
Honestly, I don't really know. Because I mean, overall, I think overall in like the aspect of like actually managing like in like very severe crises, I think it would be helpful. But I don't think necessarily in the like kind of feeling like kind of, I don't know, like in the singular day kind of helping reduce the pain is it better. But I think in the long term, keeping it less intense is better.
Right. And I see your hand is in a some sort of not a sling. What do you call
Like
it?
I don't know, a support, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Is that something separate from sickle cell, or is it due to pain or?
Yeah, it was with the sickle cell pain. I just woke up this morning and like my wrist was like really painful, so I put this on because when I go to school and I write, it just like helps a bit more. Yeah, so that's like the sickle cell pain usually, and I also have like a knee brace. So if my knee gets sore, I put that on my knee. But luckily I don't have to use them too much, which is good. But yeah, this was just for today.
Yeah, that's good because you give other people other tips to say maybe you should try this or try that to help through the pain. So thank you for sharing. Lisa, so you
Yes.
have the traits and your partner has the traits.
Yes.
Do you ever have suffer any symptoms at all? If you look back through your life, would you say?
The only thing I'm very sensitive to is cold, but I don't know if
It's really annoying.
but I don't know if that's related to the sickle cell. Uh, if I go for an operation, I do need to tell the doctor or the surgeon that I have sickle cell trait because it could affect me when I'm under. But yeah, that's the only thing I've noticed. Other than that, I don't have any of the symptoms. I wish I could take it from her, but no, I don't.
Absolutely. I myself have the trait, and I can be quite symptomatic sometimes.
Okay.
Yes, my brother SS, my sister AA, so I was like in the middle.
Yes.
Quite interesting, and this whole project has come
And
about
what can I
through.
ask? What symptoms?
Yes, you
Can I ask
may.
what symptoms?
Yeah, I believe I have crisis because I struggle to breathe, I collapse.
Oh,
I've felt like I've had stroke like feeling. So yeah, it's feel like I've had silent strokes, mini strokes. My whole left side of my body just sort of drops and I'm non-verbal. Things like that has happened through my life, and it's
goodness.
one of my main triggers is my cycle, I find.
Oh, that's
So
intense.
yeah, so it's interesting because
It, it's very interesting because they teach us that people with the trait don't really have symptoms. It's sort of written in the textbooks, but clearly,
they
you
swear
know,
blind.
there are exceptions to the rule.
Exactly, they swear blind so much so that the NHS has denied I have it and will not give me any treatments. Whereas I've through this project, I've met other people, young people with the trait who are actually receiving the same medication as somebody with the
Wow,
known disease. So I think that's something that we can be pioneering in actually
absolutely.
trait
That's,
awareness, not just having it, it's genetic counseling,
yes, yes.
dating, things like that. So I
And
think
help
the
with mental health
big
in
time.
general. Yeah,
So I'm really glad you're here today, Lisa, because like you mentioned earlier, the parents are very, very important. And the parents talking to each other through this project, as well as the young people, is going to be quite powerful because you are the true
that'd be
champion
very good.
advocates. You've kicked down doors. And yeah, so please, round of applause to you.
It's, but it's all done to empower the children because I know that, I mean, Maya's 13, so at some point she's going to be transitioning.
Yes.
So there'll be a point where I can't, at the moment, if she gets sick, I'm in a fold out cot bed next to her. And, I don't leave her side almost. But, when she gets older, I'm going to be resorted to the, whatever the 3 till 7 visiting hours. And so I need to know that she
But I can
has,
fend for myself.
right. And I mean, there was a recent campaign of the Sickle Cell Society called No One's Listening. I think they went to
Yes.
Parliament with it. Yeah, so when I mentioned that some doctors and nurses sadly need sort of training and education, it's not a joke. They genuinely do. And it's parents' fear for their children, so that when they're not there, they know that their children are taken care of and listened to.
Yeah,
because
even at the moment when I'm in hospital, for example, like I might like, for example, like tell the doctors, oh, like can we, like, for example, I have really small veins, so it's really hard for them to find cannulas, and I get like a lot of like marks on my hands from when they try to get like veins. So like sometimes I might ask them, oh, can we take the needle out? It's really painful. And then they'll be like, yeah, we'll take it out, but then they'll keep prodding and like pushing the needle in, and it's like, no, it really is starting to hurt. Will we take it out? And then mum will have to say, yes, can we take it out, please? And then they'll go, oh, sorry. And it's kind of like, can you like listen to the person that is actually happening to? In a way, like I get like I'm just a child, but like if I'm in pain, I can tell you how I feel. In a way, especially since I'm going to be transitioning soon, that's like one of like the worries for me, that I might not be listened to. So I think that should be definitely something pushed in the campaign.
Yes, there's a lot of concern about the transition between childcare and adult care. And so I think there could be a lot of advocacy around that. And if we can come out of this with changing policies, even though they're small, maybe, free prescriptions, things like that, it all adds up. It really does. Another question is that Sickle Cell Society UK are looking to come out with a new ID card. I think there's been variation of ID cards over the years. Have you been given one? Have you been told about anything like that coming through? And if so, what would you like it to have? Like maybe a QR code that could scan your details, or QR code that you can scan it and you can find out more about the disease or the condition. What do you think?
We haven't actually heard about that, but I think that would be a really good idea, like having like a little lanyard or something. Even if you don't always have to wear it, you can have it in your like bag or something. And then if you ever start to get into a crisis, for example, if you're like for example, for like a job or for like at school, like you can show it to like whichever like person is in charge, and then like they can scan it and then you can go, oh, okay. I think that would be like that would be like really good. Like just having like a little information like in your rucksack or whatever.
I think that's brilliant. I think you being a journalist or a reporter or an influencer, I could really see that. And hopefully through this program, you'll get opportunities to explore that even more. But I won't take up any more of your time. We're hoping to start in June. And I'm actually thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if we started on World Sickle Cell Day? That would be nice, wouldn't it? That's
Nice.
that would make sense. But thank you so much for your time, and do let other people know about this program. More the merrier. And hopefully speak to you again soon. The both of you. God bless you. Have a lovely, lovely evening.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.